Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of historic times. Having no idea what path I was on, I now look back and realize that for the past 9 years of my life, I have been preparing for this moment. I have been preparing to be your representative. For too long in our nation's capital, our elected officials have not represented the people in this room tonight. But it's a new era. It's a new journey. And that journey we take together. And for those of you who traveled from all 8 counties within our district tonight to be here, I thank you. Because you are the people who are going to turn the nation around. We will put it on track. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution of the United States guarantees each and every person in this room a Republican form of government. And if we have anything to say about it, a Republican form of government is exactly what we're going to give them. Thank you.
Sheriff Nugent, 90 seconds.
To all of you, Pasco REC, I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. What great neighbors we have in Pasco County. Now, my name is Rich Nugent, and I've been sheriff in a neighboring county, Hernando County, for the last 10 years, re-elected twice. I've been in law enforcement now 37 years. Been married to my wonderful wife for 35 years. We have 3 great sons, all of whom are serving in the United States Army today. Now, my background is diverse. I have a master's degree in public administration. I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy. But what does that mean to running for Congress? It means that I have experience. It means I have leadership. At the Sheriff's Office, in the last 10 years, I've been re-elected twice by a margin of 73% the last time. Part of that is because of what we do at the Sheriff's Office, what we bring to the table. That's the same thing I want to bring to Congress. Because for too long, Congress has been all about themselves, not about where we are, not about you and I. They certainly don't ask us questions about what they want or what we want. It's really about what we do for you. In Congress, you're supposed to serve, not supposed to be the other way around. Right now, Congress doesn't listen to us, and I'm going to change that. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sager. It's my opinion that we should do a debate the way Tom Watson used to talk about golf courses, and that is that a golf course's first hole should be welcoming and embracing. It should shake your hand. It shouldn't be controversial right from the start. So we will get to some of the more obvious questions in a moment, but to begin, Mr. Sager, the White House has embarked on a major public relations effort in an attempt to sell the stimulus as a rousing success. Among the administration's claims, federal spending has saved or created up to 3.6 million jobs. Republicans, citing Bureau of Labor Statistics, say we're down a net 2.5 million jobs. Okay, you're teed up. What was wrong with the stimulus, and what are your thoughts about what ought to be done to get the American economy back on its feet?
Well, Tom, I'll tell you that I've got a personal attachment to all those people that are out of work. I lost my job last year. That's right. And let me tell you something, the stimulus is not working. It has never worked. And I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's a simple fact. The stimulus is a violation of Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution of the United States. Plain and simple. The only thing that the federal government should be doing in order to stimulate the economy is get out of the way of the private sector. One of the things that I will gladly co-sponsor when I get to Washington is the fair tax. The fair tax is the solution to our problems, in my opinion, because it nullifies the corporate tax rate. And nobody in this world can tell me that with a 0% corporate tax rate, we won't have business flocking to our shores. That's the answer. The government needs to get out of the way. and let us do the work.
Sheriff Nugent, same question.
The stimulus has done nothing to create jobs. We see this across the board. And the jobs they created are nothing but part-time, short-term jobs. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help a person buy a home, buy a car, be productive. Government can't spend their way out of this crisis. That's what government's trying to do. There's no way that you can spend your way out of it. Because what we're doing is, not only are we spending it, but we're creating a bigger debt. Sooner or later, we are all going to be responsible for that debt. And the time is upon us today. If you look at it, right now, between the national debt and unfunded liabilities, each of us in this room owe $400,000. Each of us. Okay.
Sheriff Nugent, to you, Americans across the board, you were talking about this, Americans across the board agree that federal spending and federal deficits are out of control, but getting a handle on either is easier said than done. How should Washington go about closing the gap between spending and revenue?
First of all, the deficit is what we have to attack. You can't, and we mentioned this just in a few seconds ago, you can't spend your way out of it. Right now we have unlimited spending. We have uncontrolled spending in D.C. What we need to do is encourage small businesses. Right now in America, small businesses account for over 55% of the jobs in America. We have done everything in our power, the federal government has, is to restrain that business by overtaxation and overregulation. We have the ability in Congress to change that. We have the ability to take away overregulation. We have the ability to spur growth, not by giving money away, but by actually encouraging businesses to grow. And one way to do that is you eliminate the capital gains tax down to zero, and you can do that right away.
Mr. Sager, your response.
Well, folks, this is the major difference you're going to see tonight. One of us is going to talk about the issues, the same issues that you've heard about for years, and one of us is going to offer solutions. I've already told you about the fair tax. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to expose where your money's being spent. I have drafted a bill, it's called the Executive Reform Act. And that bill will remove the power from the executive branch of our government from writing checks in your name. The Congress of the United States of America no longer has a clue where your money's being spent. And that's a problem. Just today we learned that even though the executive branch promised us that they would not spend our money on abortion, the Department of Health and Human Services released a report that Pennsylvania and New Mexico will be funding abortions with your tax dollars. That must end, and the only way we can do that is if we return that authority to the Constitution of the United States and to Congress, where it belongs.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sager. Mr. Sager, limit your applause, please, folks. Recapping, let's address the elephant in the room. Recapping a story published in Tuesday's Tampa Tribune, you have been out of work since Sound Advice went out of business sometime in 2008. During that time, you have collected unemployment payments to the tune of about $18,000, correct me if I'm wrong. However, you also are on the record opposing, as outside constitutional limits, the federal government's involving in making unemployment benefits available. Critics have called this arrangement hypocritical. Why are they wrong?
Well, Tom, they're wrong because unemployment is a state program. The problem is that every once in a while the federal government decides to do loan guarantees through the Social Security Administration in order to back up with the states. The states are spending their money way too fast and they haven't prepared for the financial Armageddon that we now face. I am unemployed. I did collect unemployment. It's not something that a husband and father is proud to announce from a podium, but that's why I'm in this race today. It gives me the passion and the drive. 20% of the American people in our district alone are out of work, and I am honored to represent them next year.